3, 4.
Hey everybody, it's Daniel here for MobileSyrup, and today we have the Motorola XT860, also known as the Milestone 3, also known as the Droid 3 in the US, but this is launching on Bell. This is an HSPA Plus device. It's a pretty big beast, and it's also a slider QWERTY phone, so let's take a look at it. Firstly, you'll see this is a 4-inch LCD display. It's got a resolution of 540 by 960, and that's quite a bit bigger than the original Droid, the Milestone that was released on TELUS in 2010. This is also a lot faster, and it's got a bit of an improvement in the keyboard department as well, so we'll take a look at that. Firstly, you see the 4 capacitive touch buttons here: menu, home, back, search. Not a big fan of the home being in the middle here, but that's a choice that Motorola seems to like to make. There's this sizable chin here, and you'll be able to see why that's there in a minute. The headset grill here, pretty small, kind of understated. I like that. You also have a VGA front-facing camera on the right side as well. On the left of the device, you'll see there's a dedicated mini HDMI out port, and that does come included in the box, which is nice. You also have this micro USB cable here for charging and connectivity. On the bottom of the device, it seems there's just a microphone. The microphone's right there at the base of the chin. On the right side of the device, unfortunately, there is no dedicated camera button. It feels like it should be there because the phone's thick enough that it would be a nice handy thing to have, but unfortunately they rely on the virtual shutter button in the app. There's a delineated volume rocker over here, and nice and clicky, which I really like. On the top of the device, oh wow, that actually turned it on. On the top of the device, you have a dedicated power button right in the middle there. Really nice placement. Lots of companies should be making it right in the middle, so that when you're holding the device, you can just use your index finger to turn it on and off. The 3.5mm jack over there, and on the back of the device, we have a nice 8-megapixel camera. It has a very, very bright LED flash as well, and it shoots 1080p video pretty well, actually. I'm pretty impressed. And of course, there's another noise cancelling microphone and a mono speaker. Taking off the battery cover, let's see if I can do this. It's on there pretty good. Taking it off, you see, of course, it's a Bell device. It has a micro SD slot over there. It's also got a 1540 milliamp hour battery, I believe. I'm not going to take the battery out because it's going to take a few minutes to boot back up, but you'll just have to take my word for it. The back is really nice. It's got this kind of matte grippiness to it, really nice to hold in the hand, and it makes it very easy to type on, which I'll show you in just a second. So you slide that up right there, and bam, you have the 5-row keyboard, significantly improved over the first Droid. You can see there's a bit of a raise to each key, and there's a little bit of separation too. It's not the best QWERTY keyboard we've ever used. I really, I'll give that to the E7 for the Nokia, but I do like the dedicated number row. I also like the placement of a lot of the secondary keys, the fact that there's a dedicated @ and a slash here for entering emails, web addresses, comma, period, big enter button here, big alt button. Not sure why this OK button's here, since the enter button is probably going to work most of the time for the OK functionality, but hey, it's there anyway. We have a tab as well. I found the keyboard is a little bit close together, so a lot of the keys seem a little bit cramped. I couldn't type as fast as I could with a virtual keyboard. I'm still working at it, and will give my assessment in the final review, but I still prefer virtual keyboards. I really was looking forward to using this, and I like the keyboard for entering kind of email addresses and stuff like that. So that's probably the main reason I would use this keyboard, is for entering short snippets of information, stuff that you need the @ symbol, the dash for the web address, stuff like that. So let's just take a look at the software, you see this is a new looking home screen for Motorola. They've done away with the Moto Blur, and they've really increased the aesthetic pleasure, the aesthetic design of their gingerbread OS. So this is running Android 2.3.4. You can see it's got some pretty slick transition animations. Everything is nice and smooth over there. This is running a 1 gigahertz dual core TI OMAP 4430 processor. It's got 512 megs of RAM in there. It has a 16 gig internal storage, and 2 gigs of that is dedicated for apps. Lots of interesting widgets as well. You'll see that there's this dedicated news widget which opens into a new app. It's got this 3D effect that we saw with the Atrix. This runs a lot smoother than the Atrix on Froyo, despite having less RAM. Overall, the additions, such as, like, for this one, you have a nice 3D weather app. You also have Bell additions. You have a Yahoo search bar. You've got a task menu here, which you can add a quick task. So if I want to say finish review, you'll see at the bottom here, even when I'm typing on the hardware keyboard, there's a dedicated autocorrect row. So that's nice. I think most hardware keyboards don't have that. I don't think by default the HTC one does, but I could be wrong. Also, the virtual keyboard has been updated for Gingerbread, and it's excellent. I hated, and I cannot stress strongly enough how much I hated the Motorola keyboard before Gingerbread. The one that ships with the Atrix is it's nigh unusable. This is fantastic. It's multi-touch compatible. It's fast. It's accurate, and it just feels like a keyboard should. I really, really like it. I don't think you'll need another one. And I think, despite not, despite my love of the HTC dedicated multi-touch keyboard that ships with their devices, I think this one actually takes the cake. So well done, Motorola. You've finally created a keyboard to knock HTC off the front, the contender of virtual keyboards. So let's take a look at the rest of the stuff. We have kind of a Facebook thing here, so you can touch here, and it consolidates all your pictures. It consolidates your Facebook friends' pictures like that. You can have access to your camera roll, and you can share straight from the app. So if I want to share multiple pictures like that, I can just go like that, and I can add a tag if I want. Hello, done. So that's a tag. I can share it with a number of different services here. You can see it separates it between downloaded apps and pre-installed apps. There's lots of very interesting stuff here. You have a lot of social messaging, social media integration. You have DLNA server integration here, so you can push any of your photos or movies straight to your television. You have access to your friends here, so all of your Facebook friends you have access to in their albums if you want. The number of services that it has is just staggering. So if you hold down the home button, obviously you get your recently viewed apps, but there are 5 rows here, or 5 columns of 4 rows, or 4 rows of 5 columns. I'm not really sure how that works. Clicking on accounts, you'll see you actually have a number of services like you did in MotoBlur, but obviously they're not calling it MotoBlur anymore. They still have that amazing corporate sync, which I love. I think that Motorola has some of the best enterprise email integration out there. The problem arises when you download dedicated apps that conflict somewhat with the built-in functionality that Motorola gives you. For example, I've linked up my Facebook account here, but I also have another Facebook account. That's from the dedicated Facebook app that I haven't really set up yet. Same thing goes for Twitter. There's the integrated Motorola version of Twitter, and then there's the native version, the third-party version rather, that I've downloaded from the App Store. So it goes to show you that obviously there will be a little bit of overlap. Some of the other services here remind us a little bit of WebOS in the sense that there's some of the obscure ones like Flickr, Last.fm, PhotoBucket. They also have very robust regular email support, and all of the apps that support these kinds of services, syncing and whatnot. This is another enterprise app that I've downloaded in Touchpad. There's Picasa, Yahoo Mail, and YouTube, as well as Windows Live. So lots of apps, lots of services that are supported natively. You see there are these other widgets here that come pre-installed, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So as opposed to having them up here like you do in Samsung and HTC devices, they haven't cluttered up the notification bar with the auto kind of toggles, the quick toggles, and they've put them right on the home screen. I actually prefer them up on the notification bar, but hey, everybody has his or her preference. There's some other interesting widgets, such as this one here. This is a deals widget, and it'll show you a deal every day. I'm gonna try and open it up again. So if you go into widgets, takes a second there. If you go into widgets, it's under social location. It says discover places. So you can actually go in and you can, start up a widget with different services. For example, if I want to find the closest Starbucks, it'll show me just there. There's a College in Dovercourt, Queen in Dovercourt. This is all in Toronto, so there you go. The app drawer is activated like this. You click on it there, and you have a horizontal app drawer. The recent apps can be changed to all apps or downloaded apps just in the top left-hand corner there, and then you can add a new group if you want. I can call them Hello, and then I can take different apps, for example. There you go. So I can add here, and all of my apps are down here, and then I can just add them one by one. By default, however, all apps are loaded, and it's a horizontal app drawer with some nice 3D animation. You'll notice that occasionally it slows down. So most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time it actually is really nice and smooth. However, it does slow down just a little bit, and that's probably due to the fact that this overlay here is not hardware accelerated. So all the CPU is doing all of the work here to render all of this 3D stuff. And while it is a pretty quick 3D, pretty quick processor and dual core 1 gigahertz, it's not going to be able to keep up all of the time depending on what's going on behind the scenes. You have quick access to your apps here, and this is running Gingerbread. So as you can see, you have your application storage down here, 1.4 gigs free and 537 megs used, so you have quite a bit of storage space, which is nice. Let's go into the settings now and take a look at some of the features. So right out of the box, you're running Android 2.3.4. It's the XT860, and it's got a pretty new kernel number. This is pretty standard. And a couple other things. You have an HDMI port here. You can configure that. You have the ability to run a mobile hotspot here. Very secure. It supports, I believe, WPA2, which is nice. You can also manage the number of devices that are connected, as well as an inactivity timer. And I think Motorola does this better than any other manufacturer. Wi-Fi has been really, really good. The Wi-Fi quality has been excellent. I can get more bars with this device than I can with any other in my basement, which is pretty impressive. You also have a battery and data manager here, which will show you the number, the percentage of battery remaining. You also have the ability to click on the battery here, and it'll show you the usage. The battery life on here has been pretty good, not that good, not like Samsung Galaxy S2 good, more like above average Android good, which means this will last you about a day, maybe a day and a half of liberal usage. However, it does have the ability to set battery mode, so you can set it to turn off all syncing during the night. So during a certain time between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. It'll stop after 50 minutes of inactivity, and then it'll start up again without issue. Maximum battery saver, that will stop syncing data after 50 minutes throughout the day and night, and it dims the display. So in addition to using things like auto brightness, this has an additional battery saving mode, which is really nice. You can also set it to you can also tell the device whether to do background data syncing Whether you're on vacation, you don't want it to sync at all, so you can turn off data completely, or you can just turn off background data, which will extend your battery life, but it won't sync in the background. You have to do everything manually. You can also do specific syncing, sync over Wi-Fi only. If you have an email account there, you can tell it to push or update every 15, 20, 30, 60 minutes, for example. Really nice kind of grain features here that that are above and beyond what most Android manufacturers will give you. As a result, however, not the fastest overall UI. So you'll notice that while this is running a dual-core 1 GHz processor, this is actually the same one that's in the LG Optimus 3D. I did notice that even that one running Froyo was a little bit faster in day-to-day activities than this one. So if you're in the market for a high-end Android phone on Bell, this is under their Superphone category, which is you know, in addition to the Galaxy S2, the Sensation, and this one, and I believe it's the Atrix. So the Galaxy S2, the Sensation, this one, and the Atrix. I could be wrong. Anyway, they are a great lineup of phones, and you won't go wrong. This one also has a bunch of Bell stuff included. You have the TV and radio, tunes and apps. You have Quick Office pre-installed. You have some games. You have Nova again, but that's a demo. So not that much bloatware at all, actually. I'm really impressed by the lack of bloatware. Camera. Let's go into the camera app very quickly. Come on. Okay, so nice camera app here. You have this one-touch setting for all your features. You can set the video resolution as well as the picture resolution. You can set it to widescreen or not widescreen. Remember, it defaults to widescreen, and that's only 6 megapixels. If it's not widescreen, it's 4:3 and it's 8 megapixels. Video resolution actually defaults to 720p. I had to manually change this to 1080p. There is this little info box I'll show you in a second. You can also geotag your photos, and you can set the tone. I did notice that the shutter was a little bit slow. But what's nice is that the flash actually goes twice. So instead of having a dual LED flash, this will light your surroundings twice. You also have some nice features there. You can increase brightness. You can set a scene mode. You also have the panorama that's pretty cool. So you take a photo and then kind of line it up there. You'll take another photo. This isn't really going to work, or you can't really see it, but basically it'll create a panorama for you, stitch everything together, and it should look nice and complete. And as well, your 1080p video. Motorola is not really known for their camera sensors, but that crashed. But this one is pretty good. I mean, the 8 megapixel camera, you can't really go wrong. Detail was excellent in good lighting conditions, very, very strong. Lower lighting conditions, not so much. There's a lot of noise, a lot of compression, but you know, that's not dissimilar to most mobile devices. So what else can I show you? The browser. The browser is actually pretty good. I did a SunSpider test on here. Came out with a 4452 milliseconds. That's right up there with the fastest devices on the market. You see here, if we go to MobileSyrup, thank you for staying with me, by the way, if you're still here. I know how arduous it must be to sit through 20 minutes of phone that you can't have yet, or actually don't have yet, but hopefully this will convince you to buy it, because I really do like this device, actually. You'll see, actually this isn't a very good example because it's the mobile site. Let's go to New York Times. So this will load up the mobile site first, and then we'll go to the main site. That's the problem with these mobile browsers, is that they want to give you efficiency and speed rather than the full experience. It's so mean of them. Okay, so you can see changes orientation pretty quickly, actually. and it also loads up pretty quickly. This has flash loaded, so it should load up the flash as well. See, pinch to zoom, nice and smooth. The 960 by 540 resolution makes the text really sharp. I am very impressed. Even a lot of people who say that the pentile technology behind Motorola's QHD displays, this is the same display that's on the Atrix as far as I can tell. All the colors the same. You have the same issues with green. So, for example, your browser, sorry, not your browser, your market is going to be a little bit, the green's a little bit shallow. I can't really explain it, but it's not vibrant the way that, say, the Galaxy S. It's not accurate either. This shouldn't be as dark as it is. If you look at another device, I don't have one right next to me, but if you look at another device, you'll see that this green is a little bit off. That being said, once you get used to it, reading text on here is a real pleasure. Just to give you a kind of an orientation on the size of the device, you'll see that this is a 13mm thick device, and I'm running, this is an iPhone 4, but it's not that much thicker overall. It's a lot taller. So you can see here, let me zoom out a little. So you can see here, it's quite a bit taller than the iPhone 4. But of course it has a 4-inch display. It's a lot thicker, and but it's not cumbersome. So one thing that we want to point out is that this device is as thin as it gets for a QWERTY phone, a slide-out QWERTY phone. It's the thinnest QWERTY phone on the market right now. It's 12.9 millimeters, and for somebody who's sensitive about the size of his or her phone, but also wants a QWERTY slider, this is a definite candidate for the best phone out there for you on the market. Call quality is really good. Bell has excellent call quality, excellent HSPA plus speeds. This supports up to 14.4 megabits a second down, 5 megabits a second up. Benchmarks, this gets about 2100, 2200 on quadrant. Linpack also, let's do a Linpack quickly. Multi-threaded should get about 60, 65. If we're lucky, maybe 70. Oh wow, that's not right. Okay, so something wrong with Linpack, or maybe it's just not catering to this device very well. Because I got 60 plus on the Optimus 3D, and this is running the same processor, so clearly something's off there. I will show you the quadrant just to prove to you that this is in fact, now I'm feeling defensive because I claimed that this was going to perform in a way that it didn't, but if you see the results here, you'll see that it's still very much a dual-core caliber device. So I'll speed this up. Alright, so we can see that it hit the 2000 mark, 2005, which is a pretty decent score. Probably hampered a little bit by the fact that there's only 512 megs of RAM here. But as I said, definitely a good device for those who like, who work with enterprise servers, who work with keyboards a lot, who are very comfortable typing on these kinds of keyboards. This is not the best in the market, but certainly close. Just to give you a little comparison, what I think the best keyboard in the market is this one right here. This is the Nokia E7. Not the best operating system in the market by any means, but definitely one of the best keyboards. I love this keyboard. I can type really quickly on it. I don't know what it is. The keys are raised just right. They're spaced just right, and there's no extraneous keys, so I don't miss anything. But overall, you can see the difference right there. So that's been a quick look at the Motorola XT860 from Bell, also known as the Milestone 3, also known as the Droid 3. And this is available now, so go pick it up and tell me how you like it. And if you got this far in the video, you get a cookie. So just leave a comment and I will send you a cookie. Okay, bye.